Welcome to an Office Hours live update on the 2016 election, California primary, also other primaries. We've got hundreds of people here manning the desks, doing political analysis, complex computing algorithms. This is extraordinary. Actually, in reality, it's just Yale and me. But if you've got questions, if you have anything you'd like to bring up, the latest, absolutely latest, and you may be not even aware of these. For North Dakota, Bernie Sanders, 64%, and this is with 100% of the precincts reporting. Bernie has 64% of North Dakota. Hillary Clinton, 25% of North Dakota. And that means Bernie gets 13 delegates, she gets 5 delegates. And if you look at South Dakota, almost virtual tie, Bernie with 48%, Hillary with 51%. They each get 10 delegates. With New Mexico, we have pretty close. Hillary had 52% and Bernie had 48%. That means she gets 17 delegates and he gets 14 delegates. New Jersey, if you were a Bernie fan, it doesn't look so good in New Jersey. That is Hillary 63%, Bernie 36%. That gives her, Hillary Clinton, 69 delegates. Bernie got 44 delegates. Montana and California have not reported in yet, and I am getting tired. And so you're just going to have to consult with your other sources when it comes to California. I had hoped by now we would know about California. We don't. But I've been spending a lot of the day talking with the media and Bernie supporters and others about what all this means. Hillary Clinton did kind of declare herself essentially the nominee, as did the Associated Press yesterday, at the New York Times last night. But in reality, she will not be the nominee until the convention and until the superdelegates all make their decisions. And although they've indicated to the Associated Press what they intend to do, we don't know for sure what they intend to do. So anytime somebody says to you, the mathematics dictate that she is the nominee, you say back, the mathematics have nothing to do with it. It has to do ultimately with the pledged delegates and what the superdelegates will decide to do on the 25th of July. Still, it looks very unlikely that Bernie Sanders is going to be the nominee of the Democratic Party. So much of the discussion I've had today with people has to do with the legacy of Bernie Sanders. What does this all mean? You who are Bernie Sanders supporters, are you just consumed with anger, cynicism, grief? Do you feel like there's no way you're going to vote for Hillary Clinton? It doesn't matter, you say, if Donald Trump becomes president? Or are you going to vote for Hillary Clinton but not be very happy about it? Or are you going to say to yourself, well, it may not have been a perfect system, but it is amazing how well Bernie Sanders did, considering that he didn't take any super PAC money, and also considering that he had basically no campaign experience in the big leagues in terms of presidential politics, and a skeletal crew with regard to a campaign. And we've got a man who is a self-described democratic socialist, Jewish, Vermont senator, 74 years old. I mean, it's not his charms and his good looks and his chiseled chin or anything else that generated the enthusiasm for Bernie Sanders. And before today, 20 states and extraordinary victories, a majority of people under 30, in fact, a majority of women under 30, a majority of Latinos under 30. What did it was Bernie Sanders' message, his message about getting big money out of politics, and also his message about specifically a single-payer plan, free tuition at public universities, his message about moving to a $15 minimum wage, and a tax on financial transactions. You know the rest. So are there questions? If there are not questions, oh, there is a question. This is Vineet Sharma. I feel like hanging myself. Vineet, look, I know how you feel. I don't feel good either, and there are a lot of people around who have worked extraordinarily hard, have provided funding to the extent that they are capable of providing funding in small amounts to the Bernie Sanders campaign. And obviously, a lot of you just feel very, very disappointed. And I have to tell you, I feel disappointed too. I mean, this is a big letdown. But I'll tell you something, from my viewpoint, these are the things that we ought to celebrate. Number one, the fact that Bernie Sanders did so well. The fact that young people overwhelmingly voted for Bernie Sanders, and so the future is with the progressive movement that Bernie Sanders represents. Number three, that you can mount a major challenge even if you are the most unlikely candidate, if you've got the right message and you don't rely on super PACs. You can even make it without depending, or almost make it, without depending on all that money, all that big money. And I think that's encouraging. It's also encouraging that the Democratic Party, I don't believe, will ever be the same. And Hillary Clinton, if she wants Bernie's supporters, and she's going to need Bernie's supporters, is going to have to work for them. I think she's going to have to do something like make Elizabeth Warren her vice president, and commit herself to some very big ideas that capture the imagination of the country and progressives. I don't think she can rely solely on the fact that Donald Trump is imploding, is flaming out, because there are still a lot of people in this country, unfortunately, who are willing to support him. Anybody else have any questions, any comments? Austin James, you say, Jill Stein, Green Party, has my vote. Austin and others who are thinking about the Green Party, I completely respect your decisions, but remember what happened in the year 2000 with Ralph Nader and Al Gore. Al Gore lost by a handful of votes, and although the data suggests that Ralph Nader did bring in a lot of people into politics, still it's possible, in fact it's very likely, that had Ralph Nader not been there, we would have had a different president. Al Gore would have been president. The course of history might have been very different. So before you vote for a third party, before you vote for Jill Stein, at least consider that. I'm not suggesting what you should do. I think to just make sure you consider what happened to us in the year 2000. We have another question, and that is from Juan Alvarez. You say, this is the state that elected the Terminator. So I don't have much faith in them anyway. You're talking about California. Well, Juan, let's see what happens. California might surprise us. We'll come back. We will be back with more live coverage. Live coverage. This isn't very live. It's live to the extent that I'm live and you're alive and Yael is alive, and but it's not exactly live coverage. So we'll be back with more conversation. I'm sure a lot more to say about this election, about the Hillary Clinton nomination. It hasn't happened yet. About Bernie Sanders. I think there's a lot of interest in what Bernie Sanders is going to do now. Should he throw in the towel? Should he make a concession speech? Should he fight all the way to the convention? Should he rally his troops and demand certain concessions before he's willing to release his delegates to Hillary Clinton? This is not over. It's not over, folks, until it's over. Thanks a lot. Good night.